This is a special edition of Late Night Health. I'm Mark Alyn. We're going to go to New Zealand, and we've done this number of times over, I don't know, 7 years or so that I've known Greg Macpherson. He's a good friend, and uh, he his 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 passion is keeping people young. So I need you to help me be look young, and all of our viewers and listeners as well, Greg. Let me give you a brief introduction. Greg is a biotechnologist, he's a pharmacist, he's an author. His current book is Harnessing the Nine Hallmarks of Aging. And we're going to talk about how by eating and maybe a little exercise, you can actually uh, keep keep the Grim Reaper away. Would that be a good, accurate description, Greg?
100% Mark. Yeah, it's absolutely correct. We can do a whole bunch of things, just small, tiny things, and that'll mean that we just keep our health span like as extended as long as possible. And like you say, keep that fella well at bay. Kick him down the road.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about health in general, worldwide health. You're in New Zealand. You just came back from a tour here in the U.S. Is Are we healthy right now? I mean, New Zealand, Australia, England, and America. Are we basically healthy, or are we not so healthy?
No, I think we're not so healthy right now, Mark. And we think for the first time in a long time, our life expectancy is actually gone down. We're not only dealing with COVID, but we're dealing with the issues of being locked up and locked down, and our immune system not being challenged. So it's got a little sleepy. So as we emerge out into the world, we're getting sick as well because our immune defenses need that little tickle to keep them on edge. And then I think there's a lot to be said around the mental health issues that are happening right now as well. So I think globally we're in a bit of a slump, and the only way is up, I guess. We've just got to just grind our way through this.
Uh, do different countries have different health um, or life expectancies?
Yeah, it ranges anywhere from I think a place called Chad in Africa, which is one of the just I guess it's got the dubious title as one of the places with the lowest life expectancy, and I think it's around 40. Um, but for the rest of us, it's in the developed world, it is around 80, perhaps a little less into our mid 70s. And that's the average life expectancy. So plenty of people live beyond that, but it's also balanced out by quite a few that don't. But and probably up until 170 years ago, the entire world was had a life expectancy of around 40. So we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. And some people think that 80 could be 120, and in the not too distant future.
Which is what I've been saying as long as I've been doing this show, about 7, 8 years, and even before that, for the last, well, number of years, that I'd like to be 118. We all want to go easy. We you go to sleep one night and you don't wake up.
Yes, it's squaring the curve, right? So you're fit and healthy and well until you're not, and it happens rather quickly, and that's what you want to do. But the average trajectory, unfortunately, is we have this thing called a health span, and it's actually 63 is actually the average amount of time, and it turns out that 80% of people over the age of 65 have a chronic health condition, and so there's a bit of a decline. But what we're learning around cellular health right now is going to really extend that window. So I'm pretty confident that in the not too distant future we're going to be able to crack that code.
Let's talk just briefly, because we've done this before. Your background. You started as a pharmacist, right?
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Yeah, I started. I grew up in a small town called Waitaki on the Kapiti Coast of New Zealand. There's about 3,000 people in this beautiful town. And I had a real love for science and a real love for helping people, and somehow that got stitched together to become a pharmacist. And that was 30 odd years ago, Mark. So a wee while ago.
And there was a light switch that went on somehow, and all of a sudden you said, "Wait a second, I'm prescribing or dispensing prescriptions, and
Yeah,
there's something else that I could be doing.
yeah. My first pharmacy that I owned and started was a pharmacy that serviced the residential care facility. I'm not quite sure what they call them in America, but it's rest homes and hospitals for sort of older adults. And I did that for many years before, just thinking, wait a minute, is there a better way than this? And then just through chance, I got involved in the biotech industry. I worked as a CEO for a company that had a product which helped with cellular aging and specifically looking after mitochondria, which are little battery packs, and they wear down as we age, and that has an impact on our cells and our health.
We
And
talked about that.
yeah, we
You
did.
and I, we
Yeah,
did. We talked
yeah,
about that.
that's right. That was
Yeah.
actually, I think, when I first met you was when we were talking about that product. But more recently, I've looked at rather than just the batteries, the whole cell, because if you took your car in for a service and they fixed just the motor and forgot about all the rest, you'd be a little bit disappointed. The car would go well, but it might not stop so well. So really, the current project I'm working on at SRW Laboratories is about a 360 review of the cell and its components. And we know now there are 9 areas of our cells that drive aging. And so our formulations are based on how do we modulate that? How do we intervene it and slow the process down? And it looks like you can.
The and cellular aging affects everything. Color of one's hair, right? Um, and other body parts. I mean, with men, prostate. There's diabetes and others. Can these be either stopped or reversed if you have good cellular health?
This is where billions of dollars of research are going right now, Mark, because all these diseases and conditions that we associate with older age, and I have to say, thank goodness we get a wee bit of wisdom along the way to counteract all of these things. But the Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cancer, these things are actually considered now syndrome of aging. And so, really, where the smart money is going is how do we extend health span and keep our cellular age at a reasonable level for as long as possible so that we delay some of these things that occur to us as we age. And people like Jeff Bezos at Altos Labs, the guys at Google with their Calico, and a bunch of other companies and countries are putting billions of dollars into seeing how we can slow the aging process down. And they're making remarkable progress. So this is, when I say it's around the corner, it literally is around the corner.
Uh, we've talked about telomeres, and I think I'm pronouncing them right. I think we want long telomeres, or do we want short telomeres?
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, telomeres are literally like a clock in our cells, and every time a cell reproduces, the telomeres get a little shorter. And there's something called the Hayflick limit, which is a scientist called Leonard Hayflick came up with discovered it. But it's really like a limit on how far our cells can divide. And the reason that they hit this limit is because your telomeres get shorter with each reproduction. And if you had a twin brother and you both had a heart attack on the same day, the twin with the longer telomeres would have much better prognosis, much better outcome. So we want to look after them. And if you want to imagine them, they're like they're the plastic tips on a shoelace. That's what it looks like.
If I had a twin brother, the world would, I don't know what they would do. But
Yeah.
um, how does the average person know the length of the telomeres? I mean, are there tests for that?
If you are, Mark, yes, you can go in and get your telomeres measured, if you will. It's a simple blood test, and you can get a sense of where you sit on with people your age. But what you can measure, you can manage, right? So you can actually extend the length of your telomeres through good health decisions, good lifestyle decisions, taking certain supplements. You can build them back up, or at least slow the shortening down, and that's really what we want to do: slow it down.
And we're going to talk about some products in a few moments, but I grew up not liking eggs. And I think there was a reason. My mom could cook some things very well. Eggs, it just wasn't her thing, right? And um, because I love to cook, I used to. I was a restaurant critic for years and years and years locally on radio, TV, and in print. And I'm doing a cooking show. I'm going to try to Greg to come on and make an egg dish or two with me. But I like these runny yolks, like a hollandaise sauce, for example, or if I make a an egg, just a fried egg, just crack it into a pan and have it staring up at me. I don't want that to be hard. Now that's my taste. A lot of people want it solid. Which is better, the raw egg or the cooked egg?
Good question. From a nutrition perspective, I think sort of same, but different. But if we're talking about some of the bioactives that sit inside that egg yolk, then raw is better. So a very runny egg, well underdone, is going to give you the best impact from that perspective.
On restaurant menus throughout the world, it says consuming raw foods may cause problems. So you have to be careful with that.
You do, absolutely. Yeah. So there are risks absolutely with raw eggs, which is why we work with a company which takes the magic out of the egg yolk, so to speak, without putting you at risk of any kind of issues with raw eggs.
And eggs are cyclical. One year, doctors say no eggs. The next one, oh, you can have a couple, and then the third year, have as many as you want.
Yeah.
Where do we stand right now?
So it's at the moment, unless you've got a problem with cholesterol, you have as many as you want. So absolutely, I think you can. Yeah, just go for it. But with the caveat that if you do have a cholesterol problem, then you've got to be a little bit restrictive in terms of those eggs being so rich in so many bits of nutrition that you can nudge up your cholesterol.
uh, I try to buy organic eggs, and even at say $6 a dozen, that's 50 cents a piece. To me, that's cheap. Most eggs right now, I think, are running around $3.50. Those are regular eggs. Um, and I say regular. I've been noticing that more and more the companies. We have Trader Joe's. I don't know if you have Trader Joe's yet in New Zealand.
No,
Um,
we don't, but we visited them when we were in the States recently.
Got it. And that's an international company. It's owned by a German food company.
Oh,
But and their eggs are say $3 or $3.50 a dozen. So eggs are inexpensive. Do you know what a dozen eggs go for in New Zealand?
yeah, like I think around about $7.60 or something around those lines, around there. So it's yeah, it's probably slightly more expensive in New Zealand for a dozen eggs.
What about other things? I mean, New Zealand is known, for example, for lamb. Can you eat beef or red meats once in a while? Um,
Yeah, definitely, Mark. I mean, what the experts are saying is that the a plant-based diet is the best in terms of longevity. And if you go to the blue zones, where these are places around the world which people have extraordinary longevity and good health with it, they're predominantly plant-based, but they do throw in the occasional steak or lamb. So it's something to be enjoyed in moderation.
and do you do that?
I do, yeah, yeah. We've shifted to a more of a plant-based. We haven't got it perfect just yet, but yeah, that's where we're heading, and it's just yeah, I guess it's good for the planet, it's good for your pocket, and it's good for yourself.
Yeah, one of the things I like to do are mushroom burgers with a portobello mushroom, grill it up and stick it in and just eat it as if it were a hamburger. Um,
Beautiful.
and I think it's tasty, it's inexpensive, and it's, as you just said, it's good for the the planet as well as your pocket. All right, let's take a look at the egg yolk itself. Uh, we know that there's vitamin D, there's zinc, and there's something that I hadn't heard about, IgY.
Yeah, yeah. So IgY is immunoglobulin yolk, and this is the immune system for the chicken, and it's like an antibody. Like we all have antibodies in our bodies. Our bodies make them all the time, and these are the most ancient immune boosting molecules that you can imagine. But they sit there and it's amazing. The hen will sense the environment and its body will make immunoglobulins so that its chicken is protected from that environment as it grows and when it's born. And these are amazing molecules. And we've found a way to isolate them and purify them so that we can get the benefit of them. And it has a really significant benefit in terms of helping our immune system.
Have you been able to isolate this and then put it into a capsule or a?
That's exactly right. So we work with a biotech company based out of Calgary in Canada, and they have a very unique system that enables them to take the magic, I guess, out of the egg yolk, find these amazing immune molecules, and we've been able to secure this ingredient because it's actually we're the only ones that are able to access it right now, and you can literally boost your immune system by borrowing the egg yolk immune molecules.
What is the product called? So people
Yeah,
can look for it.
it's we call it IMM1 Defense, and it's an immune product. And essentially what it does, Mark, is that it like when you take these immunoglobulins, this IgY, it goes into your gut and it acts in your gut to like a smart bomb. It surgically takes out the bacteria and the fungus and the thing, or the bad bacteria and the fungus and the viruses. And so when it does that, it gives your immune system like more bandwidth to deal with the other things that it's dealing with, such as if you get interaction with a virus or interestingly, for people in terms of tissue repair as well. Now I'm bouncing around a wee bit, but your immune system does two things. One, it defends and prevents infections and problems. But on the other side, it's about tissue repair. So a lot of people that go to the gym and overtrain, who get sore muscles, take this product, and it enhances their recovery.
You told me that you're taking it. Obviously, I mean, it is your product, but your own experience. If you have a sniffle or just feeling a little bit under the weather, you take it, and next day you're fine.
Yeah, like I take it every day, and I haven't been sick since I've taken it. We've had it available to us for 3 months now. But you know what it's like when you travel, you're in a plane and you're with a whole bunch of people, and sometimes you feel like something's coming on. So I would just take an extra dose, and in the morning I'm good as gold.
And of course, you're wearing a mask on the plane.
Of course, yes,
Right. We just have to do that.
yeah.
One of the things about aging that I think frightens people from 50 on, maybe even 40 on, is waking up and saying, "Oh my God, what's my name?"
Mm,
Dementia.
mm.
And it's isolating. It's sad. I know a lot of people who've had it. Uh, it's frankly scary. Are there any products that can help with dementia and keeping your telomeres long and keeping your brain sharp?
So we tackle that problem at SRW Laboratories by um, with a range of products called Cell 1, 2, and 3, and that's about keeping your cells in good working order. And that's part of a preventative maintenance strategy that you would do throughout your life to just keep things looking really good. For Alzheimer's specifically, we have a product we just launched, and again, I can't. This is, it doesn't cure, prevent, or all these diseases, so I can't make any claims. But it's a really, really interesting molecule. It's called 2-HOBA. You'll find it on our website at srw.co. Jojoba is an extract from Himalayan Tartary buckwheat, and it's a way of protecting the the membranes inside our neurons. In fact, all our cells in our bodies. And you want to do that, especially with your brain cells, because that just keeps those brains in good working order. And it specifically looks after the fats in our membranes. And our brains are like so much, healthy fat inside our brain.
Sure.
So it's particularly good. And then we also have a really interesting product called NRV1, which is about focus, and it's about actually just helping keeping our brain free of all those plaques and tangles, that protein buildup that we experience with age.
I just want to take a bath in this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Look at yeah, it's an incredibly important molecule, the 2-HOBA, in terms of preventing the downstream effects of oxidative stress on our cells. And it was discovered at Vanderbilt University, so it's local to America. And it's the American Heart Health Association and the Alzheimer's Association are putting tens of millions of dollars towards research with this particular molecule, just because it's so new and has so much potential.
is it any product at this time?
Yeah, we have it in our Cell One product, and we've just brought it out as a single ingredient product. And you'll find that on our website.
And we have we've had Greg's website up throughout our interview. When we're doing this interview, I just have to say that Greg kindly got up at 4 a.m. Oh my goodness. I'm here at somewhere around 9 a.m. So, Greg, I really appreciate that, and we're going to let you go back to sleep maybe for another hour or two. Um, I'd love to continue this. We do Mark Alyn Cooks, and I'm in the process of harassing Greg into joining me, and maybe cooking a couple of egg dishes on our show sometime in October. And
I, yeah, I'd be excited to do that, Mark. And as long as we make it slightly more sociable hour, so I can.
yes, we can do that. And I think you have a niece who's a young chef.
I do. She's based in Japan, and she is the most incredible young chef you're likely to meet. I think she's just turned 13, and yeah, what an amazing cook.
That is, I have an amazing cook in my life, but he's a little bit older than she is. Listen, Greg, there's so much that we can talk about. I look forward to our next conversation, and either on Mark Allen Cooks or back here on Late Night Health. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate it.
Not at all,
I'm
Mark.
I'm look forward to it, Greg. I really do. I'm Mark Allen. This is Late Night Health. If you want information on Greg, his book, his and his products, you can check it out by going to the website that's listed underneath us right now. We'll see you in our next edition. Bye bye for now.